Good morning. Hey guys. All right. Hi. So say hi if you're there. Let me know. Post a little comment and say hello. I'm just going to give it a sec and see if anyone can come on live onto the stream, and then we'll get started in just a moment. All right. Oh, I should have brought my little minion mug. I don't know if you saw on the my previous message from last night. My husband came home from he had an all-day training conference, and he came home with a minion mug for me. I'm a little bit obsessed with minions, so I'm a bit excited. I already had my coffee in it this morning, but I think it's time for another one almost. All right. Cool. So I'm going to get started. If you come on live at any stage, please let me know. Pop a comment in the feed and let me know and say hi. Ask me any questions if you have any. This is something that has been sort of bubbling up inside of me for the past few days, actually. Well, not few days. Let's call it a day. I don't tend to wait that long. And I actually intended to do this stream last night when I went to the gym for the second time yesterday. And I really, really tried to make it happen, but I was on the treadmill, and then I was on the stepper and all this kind of stuff. And I actually did start a live stream and then noticed my head bopping up and down like this constantly as I was walking. So I decided, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. And I rescheduled it for this morning to do this stream this morning instead. But oh God, I wish I had done it last night, because I was so pumped when I was on the treadmill. It was just crazy amounts of energy. Let me know if you're there. Say hi, leave a comment. I'd love to know who's watching and what you're up to. All right, so let me get into it. As you can see from the title today is how to invest in the right mentor for you and how to not get ripped off. So there comes a story with this, and this is really important. This is what's actually been bubbling up inside of me, is this story, right? So let me take you back a few years. I also started many, many years ago in the online world and all that kind of thing. And I had a mentor. That was the first thing that I did. Was I had no idea what to do. I had no idea how to get myself out there, how to get anything together, how to run programs, how to do anything. So, of course, I got a mentor naturally, right? And it's just one of those things. You either are in the habit of investing in yourself and either are in the habit of taking the leap and committing yourself to things, or you're not, right? And so I am. Therefore, I got myself a mentor. Now, this was a big decision on my part, because this was it still is. I mean, it's in this day and age, it's only 5 years ago or so. It's still a lot of money at the moment, but at the time it was definitely a lot of money to be investing into a program. It was not something that most people would take lightly, and I know a lot of people would have just walked away from it because of the level of investment that's required, right? However, I knew that this was the person I had to work with, this was the person I had to get my information from, and this is the person, and that I had to do this. And I can honestly say, when I did the program, it was an 8-week intensive program. They gave us, everything that you could possibly imagine about how to get your business started, how to do it, how to get all the pages working together online and everything. It was huge. It was a lot of work. And I had made the decision before the course that come hell or high water, I was going to do it. I was going to absolutely give it everything. I remember the course duration for the 8 weeks, I can't remember getting more than maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep, which granted is normal now. But back at the time, I was very much in love with my sleeping type person. So for me to really, jump off that ledge and go, no, I'm going to just do all the work I need to do, regardless how little sleep I get. My fitness actually suffered quite a bit, which wasn't fun. I took time off from my workouts so that I could do more work on the online stuff. And also, typically the first thing that always goes is housework. So that completely went out the window for the 8 weeks. So I worked my ass off. I absolutely worked my ass off. And it didn't get anywhere. I launched a program. Nothing but crickets. No one, don't get me wrong, I was talking to people, I was connecting people, I was engaging with people, but nobody was buying. And it hurt. It absolutely really hurt me that I'd put all of this effort in it wasn't so long, but at the time it felt like a long time when you hadn't worked at that level before, to absolutely commit yourself on just an absolute intensity level for that 8 weeks was full on, right? So it hurt. I was really down. I felt really hopeless. I felt like this was, maybe I wasn't cut out for this. Maybe I was going to just have to go back to a day job, which I had at the time anyway as well. So that was the thing. I was doing all of this on the side of a regular full-time job. So it really got to me, right? And I, in many ways, was very angry at the mentor. And I've seen this happen before where people get really upset at the person actually giving the course and start blaming them for it. And that was exactly what I did. So at the time, I felt very justified in it because there were certain things, and I'm not going to go into the details, obviously, because it'll just bore you, but there were certain things about how I thought the program was actually presented to me versus what it was and that kind of stuff. So whatever, I felt justified. I felt it was a legit thing. And it wasn't until years later that I discovered certain things and I learnt certain things that I didn't know at the time. One of those things was that it's never about the person that you're investing with. It's never about the mentor or the program taking responsibility for your actions and for your results. It is always going to be down to you. And I didn't realize that at the time because I had this in my head that I'd really, it was simply a belief that I'd set myself that because this program said that after 8 weeks I would, be flourishing and making money and stuff, that I wasn't. Therefore, it was the program's fault, right? And so a funny thing happened. I got very mad. I took a few steps back. I didn't really show up. I stopped being consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong, for the first, few more months, I really still put in a lot of effort. But then it started to wane a lot. And I realized that, I wasn't showing up. So, of course, I wasn't going to be getting any kind of results or any kind of engagement or anything like that, obviously. But I got really mad as well at the mentor. So I stopped, not really mad. I just felt that they weren't really who they said they were and all that kind of stuff. So I stopped engaging with them. I stopped following them and that kind of thing. And it wasn't until earlier, I think this year, right, that I happened to come across some of their stuff. I can't even remember how. Someone must have liked something or whatever. And I kind of went into actually seeing what they're up to and seeing what they're doing. And it hit me that what they had told me those many years ago about, no, you can't do this. You have to kind of, one of the things I got told was you have to find your niche. You can't just do all the things you want to do. Like, because obviously what I teach is everything. There's health and fitness, there's relationships, there's business, there's running your own business, there's what else? Careers, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm a very much, your entire life is your entire life. You don't have to pick and choose one little thing that you're going to succeed at. This is your life, and whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, plain and simple, right? So, but at the time, I was told by my mentor that no, you need to really pick one area. You got to be the best in one area, and that's what you're going to, whatever it is that you're called to do, you need to do that. And it felt really off for me because I knew I was meant to do more than just this one thing. I was meant to do so much more, and I felt really claustrophobic, and I trusted in what they said, and so I just went with it, right? And the long story short is, at the start of the year, I kind of started realizing, holy crap, this person had their own growing to do as well. This person had their own journey that they still needed to go through. Like, as much as at the time I'd put them on a pedestal and decided that, well, whatever they say is gospel, they've got money, they've made it better than me, all that kind of stuff, so I need to follow everything they say. It didn't hit me until then that, oh my God, this person was still going on their own journey, and they still are. Obviously, we all are. This person still had their own issues about what they think needs to be done, how they need to show up, how they need to run a business. It was all still completely based on where they were at the time, right? And it was really funny to see, oh my God, this person has actually stepped up into all the ways that at the time was what I was trying to get across, but because I didn't believe that I could do it, because I believed this person knew more than me and they were telling me I couldn't, or I couldn't yet, I had to sort of, progress up that way. because I'd believed them, that's exactly what I'd made happen. And basically, to put it into a nutshell, what I'd done is I'd taken someone else's beliefs and taken them as truth and then put them onto myself. And this was when I suddenly just had this wash of responsibility to just go, oh my God, like this really had nothing to do with them. If I chose to take everything that they say, even though it felt wrong against what I was feeling and what I knew in my core, if I decided that they just somehow know better and they know me better and they know my life purpose better, that's on me. That's not on them. They can say whatever they want. They can have whatever opinion of me they want. Whether or not I take that on and live my life accordingly, that was completely on me. And it was just this complete wash of just responsibility and just like, oh my God. So the only reason I haven't stepped up my game in the last year, 2 years, whatever it was because of me and because of whatever bullshit reasons I'd come up with about how this hadn't worked, and so therefore maybe I shouldn't do it anyway, and I'd given it my all, whatever that means. How do you give it your all if you stopped? That's not giving it your all. You got to give your all until it takes however long it takes, right? And so the thing I learned there, and yeah, I'm very much now watching and following and seeing what this mentor is doing now, and it is incredible because it is exactly, I feel more aligned to this person than I was years ago, even though I did feel incredibly aligned at the time. That was the only reason I invested a huge chunk of money with them, or within myself, obviously, because it's never about them, it's about you. So I felt very aligned, but it wasn't until even recently, just like I said, this past year, that I kind of went, okay, I see this now. We are actually the same. We are actually on the same path. It's just that they happen to be a few steps ahead. Not the same path. We all have our own path, obviously. But they are a few steps ahead, obviously, because they've been doing what I didn't do, which is stepping up and showing up over and over, day after day, regardless of how tough it was, or how you weren't getting reaction, or how much things worry you, and how much money you don't have, and whatever. Regardless of all of that, the difference was they took that responsibility a lot earlier than I did. And it wasn't until I actually realized that and went, okay, this was down to me to make this happen, that things started shifting for me, that I started realizing, well, if I'm really, and it took that time to actually realize, well, if I'm either in it or I'm not. And if I'm not actually in it for the long haul, then I'm not in the right place. This isn't a hobby. This isn't a sometime show up kind of thing. This is an all in kind of thing. And if I'm going to sort of still kind of think, oh, I'll give it my all now and then I'll take a rest, which was never in my intention, but it was what happened purely because I'd put my entire belief system into that one course, that 1 8-week intensive. And when things didn't happen the way that I had chosen to believe, because again, this is, the hazy area of who told you who, what, or whatever. But the point is, it was my belief and my decision to make that choice to go, this is what I believe, that after this 8 weeks, it's meant to just be magic, right? And because that didn't, and that was my belief, I shut down, or close to shut down, right? And it wasn't until, a few months later that I realized, well, what else are you going to do, Anna? Are you going to go work for someone for the rest of your life? Are you going to just get a job in an industry that doesn't really excite you, doesn't really interest you, just because it's a great employer or whatever, and just that's going to be your life? Is that it? And it hit me, well, fuck no. Fuck no, that is not going to be it. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how hard I have to work. It doesn't matter how little sleep I get, whatever it is. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So therefore, I'm going to do it regardless. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And that moment of responsibility of taking it on and just going, well, there you go. It was never about them. And now having this shift, having this knowledge in my head, it's like I see it all the time. And I see people that were me those few years ago and just going, and then this mentor, didn't give me enough value. What they said didn't really work, all this kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, it's not about them. When you make the investment into whatever program, whatever whatever you need to get out of it, you need to be getting that return on investment straight away, basically from your commitment to yourself. If you're buying something and the hope that you're getting when you press that buy now, pay now link is, okay, so now I just sit and I wait and everything's going to just come to me and this person is going to make it all better, you're already losing. You're already going to completely, you've already wasted your money, basically. Any time that you are investing in anything in yourself where you're going to up level, where you're going to increase your financial and your spiritual level, basically, because that's what it comes down to. It's not one or the other. You don't get to get rich sustainably and be a shit-ass person and not improve spiritually as well. It's one or the other. And if you're pressing that pay now button on any program, any mentorship, anything, and you're just thinking, okay, well, now I just sit back and I wait for things to happen and I wait for the magical keys to things, as opposed to feeling like, all right, there we go. I just went up a level. This is my new commitment to myself, making it about you straight away and not about waiting for that email to come through in your inbox to tell you what your next step is. If that's not what you're feeling, then you're already wasting your money. And it's not because of the mentor. It's not because they're going to rip you off. It's not because the program isn't going to be worth it. It's going to be purely because you didn't actually invest. As much as you might have put your money down, you didn't actually invest in yourself. You didn't actually step up to be the person who needs this program to work, who needs this to help them. Come hell or high water, they will find a way to make it happen, right? And that is the difference. You can give people the same program, exact same thing, and some will flourish and some will completely just drop off the face of the earth because they haven't actually committed themselves to it as much as the other person. They haven't stepped into the person that they need to be in order to make this program work. They've come at it from well, all right, I've paid you money, so come on, give me something for it, right? That's not how it works. You've put the money in, you've invested in yourself, you have decided to commit that you're going to make this happen. You're the one who needs to step up now, no one else. The program is what it is. The mentor is who they are. If you are relying on anyone but yourself to make things happen, you are going to be in trouble because people will let you down. Not always, of course. There's plenty of awesome people. But do you really want your success at any point to be determined by someone else? Do you really want to be the person, like I was a few years ago, blaming someone else for their lack of success because they just go, oh, well, you know, this person didn't follow through on what they said they were going to do and blah, blah, blah. And however legit you feel that it is, that's great. But is it working for you? Is it actually getting you anywhere? Or are you just sitting around having a bit of a whinge about it? Because I can say this quite bluntly and quite honestly and, you know, annoy some people if I can. That's great. Because I've done it and I'm owning up to it. I did it. I absolutely stepped back and got pissed off and decided that it was all someone else's fault. And that was really great. Not really, because it got me absolutely fucking nowhere. Like at the end of the day, because I decided to blame someone else, nothing happened because I took no responsibility and I expected nothing. And so, hey, nothing happened. As soon as you take your own responsibility back, well, then you can make something happen. You have that power now to actually impact things and change your beliefs. And this was like my biggest absolute like fucking breakthrough this year, is just this realization that I am the only reason for my success and I am the only reason for not having success. It is as simple as that. Nobody else has this responsibility on me. Nobody else has this power over me. I am going to either make it happen or I am not. And the same thing goes for you. Whatever it is that you're wanting to do, whatever it is that you're not showing up and doing at the moment, not following through on, you can go around in circles with your excuses and the people that you want to blame and the program that didn't really work and whatever, as much as you want. You can do it for years. I did it. It's fucking annoying. I was going to say fantastic, but it's the exact opposite of that. It's horrible. It's horrible. And you will get to a point where you realize, holy crap, I chose this. I actually chose to stay put, and you know how I feel about staying put. I believe it's actually just going backwards because no one ever stays put anywhere. You either are moving up or you're moving back. It's as simple as that. And so how to find a mentor that you want to invest in is quite simple. Find a mentor that inspires you to invest in yourself. So if you're just looking at these programs that someone's buying, whether it's me or it's someone else, and you're just looking for all the little dot points and, oh, okay, so they're going to teach me this and they're going to teach me that, and I'm going to get this out of them and I'm going to get this out of them. If you're doing that, you're already losing money. You're already losing money. You need to know deep down that this is the program you want based on what it's about, obviously. Don't get me wrong, read the details, go for it. But you need to, on a spiritual, on a psychological level, have committed yourself to the result, regardless what the program actually involves. That is the only way you're going to get it. And sometimes it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes it's not going to happen the way that you think it is. And sometimes that's absolutely fantastic because and this is where I'm trying to impart some wisdom and some, experience on what I've done. I spent years trying to push shit uphill, basically, pretending to be, a particular niche, a particular area that I think I'm really good at and I'm really passionate about and all this kind of stuff. And it was just pushing shit uphill because I wasn't being completely me. I wasn't showing up and just being exactly who I am and trying to impart that onto people. I was trying to compartmentalize myself, and that just doesn't work. I'm not a compartmentalizing type person. I can't. I need to, if I'm going to impact you, I'm going to impact you on all levels. I'm not going to just go, okay, well, I'll just help you with this little bit, but the rest of your life, that's your job. Fuck no. You have so much more about your life, that everything is interconnected. And if you are not committing yourself in one area, I can guarantee you are not committing yourself fully in other areas. You can fight me on this as much as you want, and that's fine. And you might do exactly what I did, because obviously we attract people that are like us, and you might do exactly what I did and go, Anna, you're full of shit and you're ripping me off. Well, you haven't paid any money to me on this live stream, but you know what I mean. Anna, you're full of shit and I know better, and yeah, I'm just going to go do this thing and follow the rules and go step by step, and if it doesn't work, then it's your fault, and then it's going to take you a few years, like it did me, to get to a point where you're like, wow, okay, that was all on me right from the beginning. And this was the biggest, absolute biggest shift for me this year, is seeing where my mentor is at now and the level that they're playing at and what they're doing with their life. And it just hit me that just because they were at a point in their life where they had some blockages, as we all do, we all have blocks that we're constantly working through. We all have mindset work that we're constantly working through. And they just happened to be in that stage at their life where they were imparting what they felt and what level they were at to me. However, just because they had that block up did not mean I had to. That was my choice. I made that choice where I put someone else on a pedestal as knowing better than me what I need to do and what is best for me and how I'm going to succeed the best. And that was a big fucking mistake. Well, it's not a mistake now, because it's got me to where I am, obviously. And if I hadn't had that mistake, I wouldn't have this live stream to go through with you and to teach you, right? But if I can save someone the time and the wasted years, I guess to call it. But again, obviously nothing's wasted. But if I can save you time and get you to where you want to go faster, then great, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my job, right? And give me one sec. So taking that responsibility and saying, well, okay, I can go and blame this person and blame this program for as long as I want, but is it going to get me the results? And most importantly, be a guardian to your mind. Like, don't let just anyone, and even if you think that this person is God and they are just incredible and oh my God, you just cannot wait to be like them, basically. Doesn't matter how much of an idol they are to you, don't let them dictate what feels right for you. Always stand up for what you believe. Always stand up for what feels right for you and take that responsibility, because then when things fuck up, you know you did it exactly as you wanted it to, and you're going to be able to figure it out. Whereas when you get to a point where you fucked it all up and it's because you decided that someone else knows better than you about what works, what's going to work for you, you get really angry. You get really upset at them for doing it, and then you kind of take a little while to get to a point where you're like, well, hold on, they didn't actually do anything to me. I chose to believe what they were saying, right? I chose to take that on as gospel when I didn't really need to, when I could have just made up my own mind about things. So that's hopefully the sort of the wisdom and the lesson that I can impart on you. Now this mentor now, like I said, they are incredible. They are doing incredible things with their life. They are impacting people. They are making a difference. And I have no doubt in my mind that they know exactly where they're going to go, and they're going to get there because that's just what they've done. And it wasn't until earlier this year that I realized, well, that is exactly what I knew all along. And I'd made this choice. I'd made this belief that someone knew better than me about what I was meant to do. And therefore I went along with it. And it was a lesson that took a while to learn, and it's been learned. It's been very much learned. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to obviously have heaps of mindset lessons and all that kind of stuff. That's what we do in life. We grow constantly. If I stopped learning things, then I'd get very bored very quickly. However, having that lesson, learning that lesson first up, and just knowing that, well, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter how much you may think they actually know everything and you know nothing. Be a guardian anyway. Doesn't matter where you're starting from. Doesn't matter if you're starting from zero on your goal. Go by what feels right for you. Don't be afraid to speak up for what is right for you. And then from that position of knowing that no one else has the power over how much you succeed or not succeed, whatever success is for you, once you realize no one else has that power to decide your fate except you, well, you're going to get the results you want because you're going to invest in the programs that you know are going to work for you because you're going to make them work, not because it has all the little dot points and it has all the little everything ticked off and everything in a nice little ducks in a row and that kind of stuff, but because you connect with it and you know you're going to make it happen one way or another. This program is just an investment into yourself, right? So I think that's probably, I didn't really plan that out very well, but that's probably about where I'm going to end it today. So to go back to it, how not to get the last point of my the little name thing that I give to the live stream feed, whatever you call that, title. There we go, title. How not to get ripped off. It's simple. Be honest with yourself about what you're doing and pick things based on what feels right for you. Don't get sucked in by, you know, all the little dot points and all the little exciting things that you're going to get with it. It's so much more than that. It's about finding who you're going to actually connect with and who you're going to actually get inspired by, and then just following the fuck through with it. So that's a big thing, is that investment into not just, okay, yeah, this sounds really good. You sound like you really know what you're doing. I'm going to do it. But no, it's whoever is actually going to inspire you to take action, inspire you to step up and do what is required. And that does not come through on the dot points. That does not come through on your little ducks in a row. That doesn't come through on all the content that is involved, which is great. Don't get me wrong. You definitely need to make sure that the person actually knows what they're talking about and can give you something of value for sure. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you. And what are you going to invest in that is going to actually make you commit to it, regardless of anything else? And people will test you. The universe will test you. This story that I've told you about, the years that I wasted following a program, finishing a program and then following on from that, the years that I wasted because I'd let myself believe that someone else knows better for me than what I know. And I believed that I bought into that belief completely. And therefore I didn't get everything I could have out of that program. I mean, all the stuff that I learned, I'm still using. It's still valid. It's still working. But you know what? It's working better now. And it's not because I just kept pushing shit uphill and kept believing that, okay, well, you're just going to be this. This is just going to be your niche. This is just going to be what you specialize in and all that kind of stuff. It's because I decided to take a leap and go, no, you know what? I'm going to be me from now on. I'm not going to be what someone tells me I have to be. I'm not going to be what someone wants me to be. I'm not going to be just what I'm good at and what people just expect of me, basically. I'm going to show up and be exactly who I was meant to be all along, because then I can't fail. It's as simple as that. If you are completely and truly aligned to what you're doing, to what your calling is, everything that you want in your life exactly as you want it, when you get to that alignment, you can't fail. It may take longer than you expected. It may take shorter. It may look very different to what you expected. I'm not telling you that everything is going to be, once again, all your little ducks in a row and everything pointed out point by point and it's just to connect the dots. That's not how life works, right? There's always going to be curveballs. But getting to that stage and getting to a stage where you can go, I'm doing what I need to do and I'm showing up and I'm going to get there regardless, because it's who I am, because it's within me to make it happen. Well, then it's going to get there and you're not going to have anyone else to blame and you're not going to have anyone else to thank when you get to the top except yourself, right? And that's really important because, well, what kind of a story is it anyway if you get to the top and you're like, well, the reason I'm here is because I joined all the dots and I followed all the processes and they just worked. There's businesses that run like that, right? But this isn't what I'm talking about. This isn't the life that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about success just based on something really dull and boring that you may as well just go end it now because you're so bored with it. I'm talking about doing what you love. If you're doing what you love, all the processes, all the dots, all the everything in a row isn't going to help you get there any faster if you're not doing it from a place of alignment, if you're not doing it from a place of knowing in your core that this is what I'm just fucking meant to do. It's just that simple and I'm going to make it happen, hell or high water. And I mean, it's really hard to actually get out sometimes and explain the difference between having that responsibility on someone else and even when you don't realize it, just waiting for something to happen, something to change so that it gets better. And just sort of, a lot of the time you do stupid things. Like for years, I just absolutely just threw the same shit at the internet. Not shit, it was great quality stuff, don't get me wrong. Like it was, I still stand by the programs completely because I know that they are 100% worth what they're worth. But the reason it wasn't sticking, the reason I was throwing this stuff at the internet and it wasn't sticking was quite simply because it wasn't everything that I'm capable of. As much as at the time I thought, my God, this is everything. Like I gave it so much time. I gave it so much effort. I lost so much sleep. I gave it my fitness. I gave it my everything. And then it wasn't until years later that I realized, well, that's exactly why. I put it as all down as things that I'm sacrificing, right? So this is a little bit off topic, but another really important part that I want to cover is this idea that you're sacrificing something to get there, right? That you're actually going through and you're giving up. Like I said, I gave up going to the gym as regularly. I gave up feeling fantastic through my health and fitness and looking after myself. I gave up on lots of stuff to make more time for this because I believed that if I just followed all the dots and I just worked my ass off and I just hustled and I just did it and I did it and I did it and I kept showing up and just doing it, that if I just did everything exactly according to plan and followed all the rules, that I would get there, right? And then I didn't. And what I had left at the end of it was I was tired. I felt like crap. I had no fit. I'd lost a lot of fitness. I'd lost a lot of strength. I crashed and burned pretty badly, and it took every ounce of me to pick myself back up and just go, all right, well, let's try this again, because that's what you do. Like, what other choice do I have? I can't do anything else, so I have to try again. But I was still in that mindset of, well, it's always going to be a sacrifice for something. And then, like I said, it wasn't until years later that it hit me that, well, why should it be? Why should I be sacrificing any part of me in order to be my best me? That doesn't make any sense. I can actually do everything that I need to do. I need to, always put my health and fitness first. That's very important to me. I don't believe that you're going to get the best out of yourself if you're constantly filled with crap in terms of food and energy and that kind of stuff, if you're not looking after yourself. I also believed that I actually needed a lot more sleep than I did. And that was something that I spent years and years kind of honing in, I guess. And that was another belief that I could challenge and I could try and change. And I did, because I wanted to, because I didn't see a reason to believe any longer that I need 8 hours sleep. It wasn't serving me. And yes, it is a choice. As much as that might annoy some people. I believe it is a choice, quite simply. And so that's exactly what happened. Whatever you believe will happen accordingly. But this idea that you need to sacrifice all these different parts of you because you want to make something happen, or that one part of you needs to suffer in order for the other part of you to flourish, that's just absolute crap. If it's not working for you, if you're not excited by everything that you have to do, then it's not working. Quite simply, it's just not going to work long term. You're always going to feel like you're giving something up, like you're not really happy, like you need a break from it. If you need a break from your life, then it's not your life. It's not really the life that you want. It's simply someone else's. If you cannot wait for, the end of the week to come so that you can go have a weekend, or you cannot wait to, finish your day at work so that you can relax on the couch because apparently watching hours of TV is relaxing or something, then again, you're not actually living your life. You're living a life, sure. Would it be a life that someone else might be happy with? Absolutely, for sure. But you're obviously not, because you need a break from it. You need to, dull yourself down with whatever it is, whether it's, just tuning in into the TV so that you don't have to think for yourself for a few hours, whatever it is. If you're feeling like you're constantly sacrificing parts of you and parts of what your dream life is in order to make this happen, then you're not really going to make it happen, because you're not really going to get there. You're going to always feel like something's missing and like you don't really want to give it your all, because at the end of the day, you're not really working for what you want. So why would you give it your all? So that was just a little bit of a tangent. It was unplanned, which is fine. But let me get back to the point so we can sum this up for today, right? Whenever you're looking for a mentor, someone to, someone to invest in, someone to guide you, go back to what I've said in today's live stream about my lesson about it's never about them. It's never about what they can do for you. It is what you can do for yourself, what you can commit to by investing in yourself. That is going to get you the results. It doesn't matter how awesome the dot points are. It doesn't matter how incredible the program looks, anything like that. If you are going to only do it to follow the rules and to just follow through with it, and then basically if it doesn't work, you just kind of throw your hands up and go, oh, well, that didn't work, then you're already losing money. Don't even bother investing in the first place. Don't bother. Just go back to whatever it is that you were doing and try again, I guess, or don't. Up to you. I can't force anyone to want to have more from their life. That's just something you either do or you don't commit to, and you do or don't want. Plain and simple. Right? So how not to get ripped off is don't rip yourself off. Don't commit yourself sort of half-assed into anything. Choose something that calls to you and tells you, okay, this is where I need to be. This is absolutely what I need, and I'm going to make this happen, because first of all, of course, you need to connect with the person. Of course, you need to trust that they actually know what they're talking about. But that's a given. If you're following someone and you're seeing what they're doing and all that kind of stuff, then you either are connecting and you are either trusting them or you're not. You already know that. That's not going to be an issue. The issue just comes down to, are you going to commit to it? Are you going to make this happen? Do you believe that they have information to impart to you that's going to help you? And are you going to make it work? Because that was the big lesson that I had to learn, was that a lot of the time it's absolutely, you have to keep remembering, everyone has their own journey. Everyone is on their own journey. Someone may tell you, and you may have them on a pedestal, and they may seem like they know everything, but they have their own journey as well. They still have their own limits and their own blocks that they need to work through. And by you just blindly following them and taking on their blocks, you're not limiting anyone but yourself. They'll get there. They'll still work through their stuff. But if you choose and you believe and choose to believe that they know better what you're meant to be doing and what you're meant to be doing with your life and how you're meant to be living it and all that kind of stuff, if that's what you're going to believe, then you have no one to blame in the end but yourself for not getting there, because you're the one who decided that. So be careful when you're deciding who to invest in. Invest in someone who's going to get you the results you want, because you're going to commit to them and you're going to follow through with them regardless how long it takes, until it takes. And more importantly, don't get ripped off, because don't go looking for someone else for all of the answers. The answers are already in you. There's people definitely like myself, like other coaches, that can get you there faster because we have the experience, like this story that I'm sharing with you today about my experience and my years and years of going around in circles because of the lesson that I had to learn. you can definitely learn that lesson faster. And there's definitely lots of lessons that a coach or a mentor or whatever can impart to you much quicker. But it's your choice. As with anything, it is your choice how quickly you take that on, or whether you are much like me, and a lot of us are, that we need to learn it for ourselves. As much as someone may tell us 20 million times, until we've actually done it ourselves, we won't learn it. And a lot of people will get that, and that's fine. But even sometimes having someone tell you about their experience and their lesson that they learned, even if you still then go need to repeat that same mistake and learn it yourself, just having heard about it, you're going to much quickly and much more likely, that's what I was trying to say, pick up on that lesson when it arrives much faster. So rather than if you get to a stage where you've done exactly the same thing, where you've just gone gung-ho, put your trust into someone else and just believe that everything they say is gospel and therefore you have to do it and you have to do everything they say because they know better. If you've gotten yourself into that situation and now you're crashed and burned because you've just realized, well, this isn't working, then maybe, having heard my story, you won't wait as many years as I did, treading water and, throwing the same stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks and hoping that it works because you're still following all the rules, before you realize that, hold on, this is going to come down to me. I have to take this responsibility. And how would I fix this if I actually acted like I'm in charge of my life? Which, guess what? You are. You are 100% in charge of your life. And every time you put it down to, well, so-and-so said this, and no, this isn't the way that it should be done. This isn't the way that the process says to do it. This isn't the way the rules say to do it. As soon as you take away that responsibility, well, you're screwed. You're going to go round in circles forever and ever and ever, until you take that responsibility and show up and do the fucking work, but do it aligned to you and to what you need to be doing and to how you need to feel and how your life needs to look. And that means not sacrificing. That means not going, don't get me wrong, I work hard. There's many days where I don't get much sleep and all that kind of stuff, but it's not a sacrifice. It used to be. It used to feel like a sacrifice, right? Because I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do, and therefore I felt like I was sacrificing the things I really wanted to do for the things I don't. That's not to say it's not work, it's not hard work, it's not sometimes I feel tired, sometimes I feel whatever, of course I do. But it's not a sacrifice because it's all part of knowing exactly what I'm meant to be doing, right? So when you're choosing a mentor, choosing a coach, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever goals it is that you want help with in order to get there faster, make the commitment to yourself first before you make the commitment to the coach, because that will help you, to find the exact coach and the exact mentor or the exact program or whatever it is that you need, because you're going to feel inside of you that you're going to commit to this and you're going to do this come hell or high water. And also, once you make that commitment to yourself, well, you're going to make it happen. It's as simple as that. It's that simple mind shift that you can't get ripped off if you decide you're not going to. You can't lose out on it if you decide you're not going to. If you decide that the moment that you, like I said, the moment you press pay now, whatever it is, if you've already invested yourself, if you've already decided that you're getting these results, then you're already going to make that return on investment. If you're pressing that button and then, like I said, sitting back and going, okay, well, now I wait for my first email and then I'm going to dot all my I's and cross all my T's and follow all the dot points and get there, and I can't wait for this mentor to show me every single little step of the way how I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, you've already lost the money. I'm sorry, you've already lost that money because you've got the complete wrong idea about how this is going to work. Nobody else has the power to change you and influence you except what you give them. And be very, very careful about giving someone else the power without them even realizing it, to decide everything about your life, to decide everything about what you're going to do with your life, because everyone is coming from a different point. I'm coming from a different point than you. My mentor was at a different point than I was, and I chose to believe that they knew better for me. And if you make that mistake as well and you choose to believe that I know better for you than anyone else, you're going to end up in exactly the same position. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with learning your lessons. I believe that is incredibly important. I believe people need to fall. People need to make mistakes. We all need to do this because otherwise we don't learn as effectively. We just don't. We don't learn as effectively from listening to people and just going, oh, okay, well, this person made that mistake, so I won't. No. We learn a lot better by feeling it for ourselves. But like I said, this may accelerate that mistake for you. It may make it come faster, and it may make it mean that you learn it faster, because you kind of go, hold on, this sounds really familiar to something Anna was saying on a live stream a little while ago, right? And if it does, then great. Then I'm helping, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. And if it doesn't, well, then there you go. You can be doing this live stream in a few years as well and teaching the same thing to someone else, right? We all have our own path, but do not be afraid to invest in yourself when you know that it's right, because you will always, as soon as you decide and commit to making that decision and commit to making that change within yourself, you're going to get it come hell or high water. As soon as you decide that you're committing to someone else to get you the results, you're going to lose that money straight away. Okay, I think that's a good point to finish up on, actually. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to go enjoy some of this beautiful Melbourne sunshine, go see a movie or something, I think, and I will see you guys later. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to pop them down there, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.